This is absolutely incredible. It is really cool to be standing where we won the World Series back in '95. I have vivid memories as a kid growing up in Atlanta of the '96 and '99 World Series. And so it is so cool to see people already lining Peachtree for what's going to be a fantastic day.
I've been looking forward to this from the last one to this one. I'm so happy to be proud to be an elected official at this time. You know, it really boosts the energy of the city. It makes people happy. There's always a lot going on. But to win a World Series, now that's some charm right there.
It is so exciting to be the World Series champion again, Atlanta Braves. It's just, I mean, the hometown spirit is unbelievable today. People out here really dancing in the streets to thank the Braves for bringing the series home to us.
I'm super excited right now to be able to have the World Championship Braves here, about to go on a parade. They did the thing that we wanted them to do, which was bring home the victory, and they did it in unbelievable fashion. 7-0 victory in Houston. Riding down this street is going to be very, very awesome for the city of Atlanta. I remember I was a Georgia Tech student in 1995 when we won the World Championship then, and then to be able to do that now, I'm excited for the Braves, excited for Atlanta.
This is so wonderful because this is my second go around with seeing the Braves become world champions. The first time I had just gotten on council, that was in 1995. And really, I've been following the Braves since I was a little kid. Okay, so I'm originally from Rockford, Illinois, about 90 miles from Milwaukee. So I was listening on the radio, okay, when the Milwaukee Braves would come on to the radio. I was following Hank Aaron back then.
As a lifelong Atlanta resident, I was born 2 days before the Braves had their opening game. So I'm just as old as the Braves franchise is in Atlanta. So, I mean, this is huge. Coming out of the COVID experience, you know, we're all shell-shocked. We all have post-traumatic stress, regardless of the level of how COVID might have affected your life. Some people may have lost a job. Some people may have lost loved ones like I did and friends like I did to COVID-19. You know, so having a win like this brings the city together. And having lost in the physical space, you know, the great Hank Aaron, who had been a mentor to me, a friend of my family. You know, I grew up with his daughter, Cece. Hank Aaron may not be with us in the physical sense. And his body, to be absent from his body is to be present with the Lord. And so if God is everywhere, then you best believe Hank Aaron is everywhere because he's with the Lord. And he was with the Braves in Houston. You know, he was with the Braves every day that they competed for this championship. We miss him in the physical space, but he has proven to us that he exists. God is real. God bless the Braves. This is a big victory for Atlanta.
I'm out here today at Harper Park, also known as Ruby Harper Park, and it's on the very south side of District 12. We're out here today with the Department of Park and Recs, our tree arborists with Parks and Recreation, and also Trees Atlanta. Doing what we're doing all over the city today and throughout the month is actually planting trees. We're actually planting 70 trees here at Ruby Harper Park. The community residents are out here with me. Why are we planting trees all over Atlanta? As our city grows and development comes to our community, a lot of times we're actually cutting down trees across the city in terms of development. The city of Atlanta has a law that says if you cut down trees for development, you have to pay into a recompense plan, or recompense fees, and they pay that. With those recompense fees, what we do is then go back out and replace trees. We try to do it in the areas where the trees came down in. But sometimes we can't, so we actually now have a plan that we do it all over the city where we find places we want to replace trees. This is great because I don't know if people know Atlanta is considered to be the city among the trees. And our goal as a city is to always keep our space green. And we're proud to be planting these trees at Ruby Harper Park.
Who's gonna get all A's and maybe 1 or 2 B's? We're here today to be able to spread some love between the Atlanta Public School Systems and the City Council. I grew up in Atlanta Public Schools, Southwest Atlanta, and went to a school similar to this Barack and Michelle Obama Academy. And, we give away backpacks at the beginning of the school year, but we know that by this point, kids have either lost a backpack, some have been torn, and also some have been soiled where they've left things inside of their backpacks, and sometimes they've, spilled out and got wet and those kind of things. So when I just asked these kids, they were like, yeah, I need a new backpack. So it's important for us to continue to support our kids throughout the school year, and that's what I'm doing here today. Inside of those backpacks, we placed a hygiene kit, we've given snacks, and we've given journals and school supplies. Wanted to bless them from my office to this school.
Well, I'm here at the Capitol Apartments on Metropolitan Parkway. Columbia Residential purchased these apartments about 3 years ago and have been renovating these apartments. These apartments that were low-income apartments that had been totally neglected for years, and finally was able to be purchased from the owner who had let them just run down to nothing. And I was so proud when we, as a city, was able to actually get funding from the city and the state, as well with Columbia Residential. Noel Khalil, who God bless his soul, just passed a couple of days ago. I was so proud to partner this with him, and he actually was a part of this development. So as the apartments are being renovated, we made sure that we want to keep all the residents who were here, who were affordable housing. We really want to make sure we didn't displace them. Today, they're actually distributing food to all the residents in the apartments. There's about 200 or 300 apartment units here. And so today they're out in collaboration with the Food Bank, Atlanta Apartment Association, and Columbia Residential, giving out food to the residents. The fact that for the last 2 years or more that we're going through this pandemic, that we actually have built out these apartments during that phase and actually making it where folks can actually stay where they are. They don't have to struggle, they don't have to worry. We're actually helping them, supporting them, lifting them up. I couldn't ask for a better partnership with everybody involved, from the city to all the folks here today. I'm just proud that we have this and that we can lift our folks up.
We're here today for a job fair. We want to be able to connect people up with jobs. There are a lot of companies that need people. They're paying over $15 an hour. And so we're here at West Hunter Street Baptist Church. We have Amazon here. They're very anxious to hire employees. We have UPS that's here. We also have some food service companies that are here. We have some City of Atlanta departments such as corrections. Also, we have the Atlanta Fire Department. So if people are looking for new careers, or if people want to change careers, this is a wonderful opportunity for them to come out and to talk and find out how they can really make more money. So we're talking about jobs that are over $15 an hour, and I think that's real important. As people are starting to come off of the stimulus government, those government checks, they'll probably be ending in December of this year. They're going to need to be able to find jobs. And a lot of times the best way to find a job is to be face to face with that employer. That's an opportunity for a potential employee to really kind of convince that employer, you know, I really want to work. I really want to have an opportunity to get a new career started, and I believe that I'm the person for you. So we're just very happy to be here in the West End community to be able to provide these jobs to people who are very interested.
The Atlanta City Council approves legislation authorizing the mayor to execute an intergovernmental agreement with Fulton County to create and establish the Center for Diversion and Services. The center would help reduce the overall population at the Atlanta City Detention Center and Fulton County Jail. The agreement is for a term of 2 years and may be renewed annually upon mutual agreement of the parties. The council greenlights an ordinance authorizing the chief financial officer to accept a $100,000 grant from the Georgia Power Foundation, Incorporated, and amend the Intergovernmental Grant Fund to anticipate and appropriate the funds received to support the anticipated capital costs associated with the creation of the Center for Diversion and Services. The council says yes to an ordinance ratifying the mayor's executive order directing the chief financial officer to allocate and distribute $33.5 million from the community benefits funds derived from the city's Gulch Development Agreement to support affordable housing, economic development, and workforce development. The council approves a resolution requesting Airline Terminal Corporation increase the current minimum wage from $8.25 to $15 an hour for all airport cleaners and other contract employees at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. For more recently approved legislation, please visit our website, citycouncil.atlantaga.gov. This has been your Atlanta City Council Legislative Minute.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Transportation Committee for the Atlanta City Council. My name is Andre Dickens, and I have the pleasure of serving as your chairman for this committee. If you would, please allow us to call the roll. Mr. Pace, please do a roll call.
Good morning, Councilmember. Councilmember Andre Dickens.
Here.
Councilmember Matt Westmoreland. Councilmember Amir R. Faroki.
Here.
Councilmember Antonio Brown. Councilmember Jennifer N. Hyde.
Here.
Councilmember J.P. Matsakite. Councilmember Marcy Collier Overstreet.
Present.
Quorum present, Mr. Chair.
And Mr. Westmoreland's saying he's here. I don't know if he's having phone problems or computer problems.
Thank you, Ms. I.
There we go. I am now unmuted and here.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, if you will, I'll go ahead and proceed with reading the remote meeting statement.
Oh, it's gonna be a crazy day if I've already got disconnected that fast. So I heard the roll call, and now we have a quorum. I make a motion that we approve the agenda. Is there a second?
Second. Westmoreland.
All right. Let's vote, and thank you for being here, Mr. Westmoreland.
The vote is open.
I'm not quite connected yet, so yay, affirmative.
The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The agenda is adopted.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Westmoreland.
Okay.
Overstreet, affirmative.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The minutes are approved. Mr. Chair, if I could go back and read the remote meeting statement.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I'm unable to see the agenda today. I'm going off of memory. But, yes, please read the remote statement.
No problem. This Transportation Committee meeting is being conducted remotely as advertised and as in accordance with OCGA Section 50-14-1. The meeting will be conducted in conformance with Robert's Rules of Order and the Rules of Council as authorized by the City Code. The public may access the meeting by dialing 404-902-5066, conference ID number 151945, which was noted on the November 5th, 2021 Council's homepage at citycouncil.atlantaga.gov. The Council's YouTube channel or the Council's Facebook and Twitter pages via ATL Council. All presentations are available on the Atlanta City Council Transportation Committee presentation page. The agenda was published and made available on November 5th, 2021 via atlantacitygA.iqm2.com. In addition, the public was able to submit comments via voicemail at 404-330-6059 between the hours of 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. the day before this meeting. All persons present on the remote council meeting conference bridge are requested to mute your phones and speakers. Additionally, speakers must be acknowledged by the presiding officer prior to speaking. Each council member is requested to open your Outlook email and minimize the screen. Amendments and substitutes and informational documents have been distributed to committee members beforehand. Thank you all in advance for your cooperation.
All right. Thank you for that remote meeting statement. We've read we've adopted the agenda and the minutes. Now let's go to public comment.
I am Brother Anthony Muhammad, a soulful spiritual being having a human experience. I am asking the Transportation Committee to hear the words that I say. I am concerned about our communities in the southwest, south side, northwest area of the city of Atlanta, including all the areas. Mr. Dickerson, the chairman of this committee, you are an engineer, but I can hear you say, I would like to be able to create 10,000 cameras in the sky. Whenever people in Bankhead speak, it appears that most of the persons that represent the city council act on what they need. Robbing and shooting goes down in Bankhead and Bar Road. So we've been having that here in Atlanta even before you became a city council person. But I ask you as a transportation chairman, I had legislation that was passed in 2017. Mr. Martin, Mr. Reed's office has said that they will have someone to come out and Button the Road. Button the Road has been paid at the beginning of Southport and city limits all the way to Camp Creek and across Concrete Parkway. I live right at the intersection of that. And we have asked you, when those legislators or those council persons have vetted and said that we could get it paid in the 2017, you had became the Transportation Committee Chairman and told me if I continue to agitate you, we won't get anything. I'm an activist in our community, looking to speak up for the least allocation of resources in our community. But when I bring it to those that are supposed to be problem solvers for the interest of the community, you reject the darker people. You reject the will of the people that have spoken up by conditions in our community. Mr. Howard, Barnes Shakur, Brother Anthony Muhammad, and Marjorie. Many people that speak up on our issues don't get the representation from the legislature. And surely not one who is an engineer. An engineer is supposed to resolve problems. Don't compound the problem. They only compound it when you want to help darker people in your own community. You, Mr. Dixon, come up out of the southwest side, Martin Luther King area. And yet, we don't even have the lights on 285 and I-20 that's been promised to us. My Matriarch Hotel, Assalamu alaikum.
I'm Jennifer Brooks. First, I'd like to say best wishes to Kimberly Sargent, her family, and friends as they recover from their tragic injuries. Our city is poised for a whole new era of wise and capable leadership. I sense great potential for collaboration. Looking ahead to federal money that's headed this way, I beg you to put into place robust leadership who will undertake recovery projects and improvements that are not hostile to businesses in my downtown neighborhood. It's been said too often in reference to federal money, use it or lose it, as somehow justifying projects that end up with unfortunate unintended consequences. Please, in 2022, allow common sense and collective wisdom to be the driving force behind all transportation and transit efforts and spending. Thank you all very much for your service.
I'm commenting on a piece of legislation that was passed last August that I am still very, very unhappy about. The notation on it is 21-00473. My unhappiness is various, including it extends the extortion racket in municipal court, which is absolutely abhorrent. Number two is it trebles the parking ticket citation fee from 25 to 75, particularly the people that have no idea why they get cited until they get cited. This is a revenue generator for the city of this billion-dollar organization. And it picks on people that can least afford it. Rich people have no problem. What's an extra $75? According to the ordinance, it could be as much as $1,000. But people who have troubles paying their rent, this is really important, but I'm being repetitious. What it also does is say that it's illegal to park within 15 feet of a fire hydrant, which I'm assuming that most people know that you're not supposed to park close to fire hydrant. But what is really problematic is parking within 20 feet of a crosswalk at an intersection. There's no red paint on the curb. There's no signage for notice. This is one of those secret laws that you don't know about it until after you're cited. I'm assuming you're aware that Duncan from Milwaukee is Atlanta's private citation company. It's almost akin to the abortion companies or the anti-abortion companies in Texas, making money that Atlanta says, oh, gee, we didn't know. an incentive program to site as many people as possible, both residents as well as visitors. As a minimum, I would encourage you all to give lots of red paint to Atlanta's Department of Transportation and buy lots of no parking signs. And this is Steve Carr.
That completes our public comment.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you for all those public comments. Now let's move to, we're going to do the consent agenda and try to knock out these legislative items before the presentation, since we have a quorum now and some may move around a little bit.
Okay. We're at Section G, Mr. Chair, Communications, item number 1, 21C0158, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms appointing Mr. Rod Mullis to serve as a member of the Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority Board of Directors for the City of Atlanta. This appointment is for a term of 4 years.
Is that the only communication?
Yes, sir. And I believe Mr. Mullis is present on the call.
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Mullis, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Chair.
Great. Please tell us about yourself and your desire to serve in this capacity.
Mr. Chair, I'm engaged in the real estate development business in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a resident of the city of Atlanta, and I have been focused since started my career in Atlanta in the late 90s on infrastructure, starting out with copper engineering and working on MARTA projects and water and sewer projects. And moved over to my own firm, Liberty Partners, and where we worked on infrastructure projects. And then in 2009, we made the move to the commercial real estate services sector, and I led our municipal advisory group and created a subset called Transit-Oriented Development, and worked with MARTA and transit authorities up in the Northeast. And in 2014, started my first development project, the first market rate project in downtown College Park called the Pad on Harvard. We completed that 2017 and sold it. So, and it's about 100 yards away from the College Park MARTA station. So we are very comfortable working in commercial real estate and to developing around MARTA stations.
Thank you for that, Mr. Mullis. I've witnessed and observed your great ability to develop, particularly transit-oriented development, and that's something that all of us have said that we wanted. So I welcome and support your appointment to this board. Move approval. Is there a second?
Overstreet, second.
Mr. Chair, this is Matt Westmont. Can I ask a quick question before the vote?
Yeah, sure.
Appreciate it. Mr. Mullis, thanks for coming today. Could you talk a little bit about your views on the more MARTA program, kind of as we look for the next 5, 10, 15 years out, the current project list, and any thoughts you have about those projects moving forward? I'm not specific. I don't have specific views on the more project list. I can tell you generally, I'd like to see more infrastructure connecting our anchor institutions, and also using infrastructure, transit to impact communities that have been underdeveloped, especially south of I-20, and use that as a catalyst for economic development, but more importantly, community development. So we can use that opportunity to increase density, but also increase attainable and affordable housing. But specifically on the plan, I do not have a comment.
Mr. Woodmore, does that complete your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you for your question and your response, Mr. Mullis. I've made a motion to approve. It's been seconded by Overstreet. Let's prepare a vote.
The vote is open.
This was one. I'm going to abstain.
Okay.
The vote is open. Please vote. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays, 1 abstention. This item is favorable.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mullis. Does this go on to Committee on Council now, Mr. Pace?
It does. It will go on to Committee on Council on Monday. Mr. Mullis does not need to be present for that item.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mullis. Next item, Mr. Pace.
Thank you.
Yes.
We're now down to Section I, ordinances for first reading. Item number 2, 21-0888, an ordinance by Transportation Committee to extend the temporary waiver provisions of Part 2, Code of Ordinances, Chapter 22, Aviation, Article 3, Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, Division 7, Ground Transportation Services, Subdivision 3, Taxi Cab. Generally, Section 22-236, Conditions for Use at the Airport, Subsection 8, for an additional period to expire on December 31st, 2022, in response to the continued effects of the COVID-19 pandemic crisis and for other purposes. Item number 3, 21-0889, an ordinance by Transportation Committee amending the Atlanta Code of Ordinances, Section 22-191, issuance of notice of violation for the unsafe or improper operation of motor vehicles to now include fines for violations of airport rules and regulations at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport and for other purposes. Item number 4, 21-0890, an ordinance by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor her designee on behalf of the city of Atlanta to retroactively ratify a renewal of the Memorandum of Understanding with the USO Council of Georgia Incorporated for the operation and management of the USO Lounge facility in the Central Passenger Terminal Complex, Domestic Terminal at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, effective October 1, 2021, in accordance with Section 2-1163, subsection C, Article 10 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances and for other purposes. And item number 5, 21-0891, an ordinance by Transportation Committee to amend Chapter 138, Article 8 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances to reauthorize the issuance of permits available to eating and drinking establishments that wish to operate outdoor dining areas on the street, in the public right-of-way, and for other purposes. Those are our first read items.
All right. If there are no objections, we will accept all first reads. Seeing none, let's carry on.
Section J, ordinances for second reading. Item number 6, 21-0833, an ordinance by Transportation Committee amending the fiscal year 2022 Airport Renewal and Extension Fund budget by transferring to and from appropriations the amount of $88,714,495 to provide funding for various projects at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport and for other purposes.
Mr. Diodori?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. This is Michael Smith, Deputy General Manager, Department of Aviation. I'll be presenting the papers on behalf of the department. This first ordinance moves money from our renewal and extension fund to various capital development projects, such as redoing our ABS IST rooms, funding the managing general contractors positions, and for other projects such as our parking deck life extension projects. And we just simply ask for approval to move those funds over.
Move approval. Is there a second?
Mr. Chair, this is Councilmember Matzicat. I'm present, and I'll second.
Okay, great, Mr. Matzicat. Let's vote.
The vote is open.
Westmoreland in favor.
The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Item number 7, 21-0834, an ordinance by Transportation Committee waiving the Atlanta City Code of Ordinance for the lease of the city-owned real estate property requirements contained in Section 2-1547, Article 10, Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, as well as any other conflicting code provisions authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to enter into a lease agreement with Delta Airlines Incorporated for a technical operations center and central terminal support area at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport and for other purposes.
Mr. Is it you again, Michael?
Yes, sir. It'll be me. Mr. Chairman, we are very happy to present this paper. This is a 30-year lease with Delta Airlines for the technical operations and central terminal support area. This area includes the aircraft maintenance hangars, their engine test cell, GSE, and other flight kitchen, other facilities. It's about 200 acres. And again, this is an agreement that cements Delta's continued commitment to the airport for the next 30 years. Over the last 4 years or so, Delta's invested more than $180 million in facilities. And with this new agreement, we've got rate increases, which will equal to about $12 million a year, and will be escalated over the period of the lease for those remaining 30 years. And so we'd like to approve that lease.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second, Matzicat.
Oh, that was, I think that was Overstreet. It was at the same time.
The vote is open.
Westmoreland in favor.
The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Item number 8, 21-0835, an ordinance by Transportation Committee to authorize the mayor or her designee to ratify contract FC 8249, annual contract for the maintenance and repair of sidewalks, curbs, driveway aprons, and associated infrastructure with SDNC Incorporated on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation, and to extend the term on a month-to-month basis for a period not to exceed 6 months, retroactively effective from September 1, 2021 through March 1, 2022, in accordance with Section 2-1163C of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, to issue task order number 14 in an amount not to exceed $1 million with all contracted work to be charged to and paid from various fund, department, organization, and account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
Who's going to speak to this one?
I believe the Atlanta Department of Transportation Commissioner, Josh Rowan.
Mr. Rowan, are you on? Yeah,
yes, sir, Mr. Chair. Yeah, we're having a little mute issue there. So this is our Josh Rowan, Atlanta Department of Transportation, SDNC is one of our on-call sidewalk contractors. We are working on getting new contracts in place, and we'd like to extend the existing ones that we have so that we can keep working to repair sidewalks, repair ADA ramps, things like that on a citywide basis. So we recommend this one for approval.
All right. Move approval. Is there a second?
Second, Matt Kay.
The vote is open. The vote is open.
Westmoreland in favor.
The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. There's no objection, Mr. Chair. I will take items number 9 and 13 together.
No objection.
Item number 9, 21-00844, an ordinance by Councilmember Carla Smith waiving the sidewalk requirements of Section 15-09-003 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances for subdivision application SD 2110, 1046 and 1056 Bernie Street to provide that in lieu of constructing the required sidewalks at the subdivision site, the developer of the subdivision shall construct 176 linear feet of sidewalk along the north and northwest side of 1056 Bernie Street at the intersection of Bernie Street and Hemlock Circle, and 179 linear feet of sidewalk along the east and northeast side of 1070 Bernie Street at the intersection of Hemlock Circle, for a total of 355 feet of sidewalk and for other purposes. And item number 13, 21-00854, an ordinance by Councilmember Carla Smith waiving the sidewalk requirements of Section 15-9-3 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances for subdivision application SD 2115, 72 Hardwick Street, Southeast, to provide that in lieu of constructing the required sidewalks at the subdivision site, the applicant shall construct 50 linear feet of sidewalk at 72 Hardwick Street, Southeast, and for other purposes. And committee members, in your packets, we have the necessary sidewalk application information that needs to be attached to each item.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Rowan?
Yes, sir. If we can unmute Deputy Commissioner Cotina Alexander. She has the specific on these if there are any questions, but we have no objection to these moving forward.
Motion to approve for... if there are no objections by council members, I'll make a motion to approve them all.
Mr. Chair, if we could amend each item to add the necessary application information.
Okay, I make a motion to amend each item to add the according documents. Is there a second?
Second, aye.
The vote is open.
Westmoreland in favor.
The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. These items are amended.
All right, now make a motion to approve as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Oversee second.
Westmoreland was first, so Westmoreland is second.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. These items are favorable as amended. Item number 10, 21-00846, an ordinance by Councilmember Andre Dickens waiving the lease of city-owned real property requirements contained in Section 2-1547, Article 10, Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, as well as any other conflicting code provisions authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to enter into a lease agreement with Delta Airlines Incorporated for land area Track 1, Track 2, jet fuel storage tanks, piping, pumps, and various equipment located on or adjacent to the land area at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport and for other purposes.
Yes. Anyone from the airport want to speak to this?
Sure. Mr. Chairman, Michael Smith, Deputy General Manager. This will be a lease to Delta Airlines for about 5 acres for their fuel farm. The airport has about 3 fuel farms, a city fuel farm, an international farm, and the one that Delta utilizes. This agreement will be for a 15-year period, and it will escalate 3% every other year, ending in 2036. We would like to approve the lease.
All right, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second, aye.
The vote is open.
Westmoreland in favor.
The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. As this is a dual referral item, this will also go to the Finance Executive Committee meeting this afternoon. Mr. Chair, if there's no objection, may I take items 11 and 12 together?
Yes, you may.
Item 11, 21-0847, an ordinance by Councilmember Andre Dickens, waiving the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances regarding the sale of city-owned real property requirements contained in Section 2-1547, Article 10, Procurement and Real Estate Code, authorizing the mayor or her designee to sell 2 acres of property located in Paulding County, controlled by Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, to Paulding County and/or Paulding County Airport Authority and for other purposes. Item number 12, 21-0848, an ordinance by Councilmember Carla Smith, authorizing the mayor or her designee to execute special procurement agreement SPS 121-0097, Cloudflare Web Optimization and Security Services with Cloudflare Inc. for a term of 2 years, retroactively effective from October 26, 2020, an amount not to exceed $90,000, and to ratify services rendered in connection with the agreement from October 26, 2020, through execution of the agreement on behalf of the Department of Aviation in accordance with Section 2-1163, subsection C of Article 10, Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, all contracted work to be charged to and paid from the fund, department, organization, and account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
Do we have to amend anything on this one, Mr. Pace?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay. If there are no objections, I'll take a motion to approve.
Motion by aye. A second. I'm not sure. Are you looking for a second or a motion?
A second. I made a motion.
Okay.
You can second.
Okay. I'm happy to second.
The vote is open. The vote is open.
Westmoreland in favor.
The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. These items are favorable. These are also dual refer items and will appear on today's Finance Executive Committee agenda. Item number 14. Mr. Chair, if I can take items 14, 16, and 17 together.
Yes, you can take those items together.
Item number 14, 21-0858, an ordinance by Councilmember Jennifer N. I, authorizing the mayor or her designee to install traffic calming devices, speed tables on Virginia Circle Northeast between Todd Road Northeast and Barnett Street Northeast to waive certain provisions of Section 138-84D of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances and for other purposes. Item number 16, 21-0861, an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Matsakite, authorizing the mayor or her designee to install traffic calming devices, speed tables on Angico Road Northwest between Collier Road Northwest and 28th Street Northwest to waive certain provisions of Section 138-84D of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances and for other purposes. And item number 17, 21-0862, an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Matsakite, authorizing the mayor or her designee to install traffic calming devices, speed tables on Westminster Circle Northwest between Howell Mill Road Northwest and Margaret Mitchell Court Northwest to waive certain provisions of Section 138-84D of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances and for other purposes.
Cotina Alexander, Atlanta Department of Transportation. These are all traffic calming papers that waive the provision requiring the petition. We have studied our locations and are okay with moving these papers forward.
All right, I make a motion to move approval. Second.
Second,
Mr. Chair, this is Councilmember Matsakite. Was one of the papers for the stop sign at Oldfield and
Councilmember Matsakite, that's item number 19.
all right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And I'll need to hold that one, but thank you very much for that clarification.
Mr. Matsakite, did you want to make a different?
Yes, okay to move forward on all these items. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Okay, all right. So we have a motion by Dickens, and I forget who seconded it.
Aye.
Aye, okay.
The vote is open.
Westmoreland in favor.
The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. These items are favorable. I can take item 15 and 18 together. Item number 15, 21-0859, an ordinance by Councilmember Jennifer N. I, authorizing the mayor or her designee to make the intersection of Wellborn Drive Northeast and Wyndham Park Northeast an all-way stop control intersection, to authorize the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersection and for other purposes. And item number 18, 21-0868, an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Matsakite, authorizing the mayor or her designee to make the intersection of Westminster Circle Northwest and Margaret Mitchell Court Northwest an all-way stop control intersection, to authorize the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersection and for other purposes.
Ms. Alexander?
Katina Alexander, Atlanta Department of Transportation. We have studied both locations and are okay with moving the legislation forward.
All right, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second, aye.
Second.
Mr. Chair, can we identify who made the second?
Who made the second?
Yes.
Either Westmoreland.
Oh, well, let's go with Westmoreland because you're not on the system.
The vote is open. 6 yeas, 0 nays. These items are favorable. Item number 19, 21-0877, an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Massakite, authorizing the mayor or her designee to make the intersection of Oldfield Road Northwest and Peachtree Battle Avenue Northwest an all-way stop control intersection, to authorize the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at said intersection and for other purposes.
Motion to hold, Matsakite.
Second, Dickens.
The vote is open.
Westmoreland in favor.
The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. This item is held. Item number 20, 21-0879, an ordinance by Council Members Carla Smith and Amir R. Faroki authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to execute Amendment number 2 to contract number FC 177 Spring Street Viaduct Replacement, Southern Phase 2, construction agreement with C.W. Matthews Contracting Company Incorporated to add additional funding in an amount not to exceed $6 million and to extend the term of the contract for a period of 12 months or until project completion. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund, department, organization, and account number listed herein and for other purposes. I believe Commissioner Rowan is speaking to this item.
Yeah, Commissioner Rowan.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. This is Josh Rowan, Atlanta Department of Transportation. I want to take a minute to thank Deputy Commissioner Jessica Fulton and her team. We set a goal midway through this year to wrap our arms around the various issues that were still outstanding on the Spring Street Viaduct replacement, keeping in mind that this was a project that was in theory supposed to be finished before the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, a major portion of the bridge has what's called concrete cancer. So we've been working with specialty consultants in Chicago with the Federal Highway Administration, as well as Georgia Department of Transportation. All that to say, we believe we've wrapped our arms around all of the various issues, from unforeseen site conditions to potentials for delay claim to the ASR, and this is the amendments that will allow us to bring this project to completion. I would share that the work has been ongoing. We were able to get the project restarted earlier in the year. Just a couple weeks ago, the contractor poured their final pier caps, have been setting girders on the project. So we're moving this one to completion. So we've met the goal to get these issues wrapped up, and that's what you see before us. And I will emphatically encourage you to approve this one.
I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second, Faroki.
The vote is open. The vote is open. Please vote.
I think Mr. Westmoreland is going to be marked away for this one.
Okay.
So find out if we still have 4, then let's proceed.
Thank you. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. We're now down to Section K, resolutions. Item 21R4159, a resolution by Councilmember Andre Dickens authorizing the mayor or her designee to amend the cooperation agreement of each community improvement district to outline qualifications and performance criteria for community improvement districts to independently procure and manage professional and construction services necessary to advance and implement transportation infrastructure projects in the city of Atlanta that implement portions of the One Atlanta strategic plan and for other purposes. I believe the request of the department is to hold this item, Mr. Chair.
All right, I make a motion to hold. Is there a second?
Second, Overstreet.
The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is held. Item number 22, 21R 4164, a resolution by Councilmember Marcy Collier Overstreet requesting the Commissioner of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to conduct a traffic study on 2220 Campbellton Road, Atlanta, Georgia 30311, and Cascade Road and Spring Park Drive, Southwest, Atlanta, Georgia 30311, to determine the need for any safety improvements such as speed monitors and for other purposes.
I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second, Overstreet.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Item number 23, 21R 4235, a resolution by Transportation Committee authorizing the Departments of Aviation and Atlanta Fire and Rescue to execute a memorandum of understanding to allow the Atlanta Fire and Rescue Department to occupy the facility at 5155 Clipper Drive, College Park, Georgia, for a term of 5 years and for other purposes.
Actually, who will respond to this one?
I will, Mr. Chairman. This is Michael Smith, Deputy General Manager of the Department of Aviation. This memorandum of understanding with the fire department allows them to utilize the old Boeing training facility. They've actually been in there since July of this year under previously approved legislation. The previous legislation had a dollar amount of $668,000. As the fire department occupied the premises, it was decided that the airport would continue to maintain it under its agreements with our property management, which caused an increase in the rental rate that the fire department would need to pay. So we made some changes to the memorandum, and this would allow them to stay in it for initial 5 years with a 5-year renewal.
All right, motion to approve. Is there a second?
Overstreet, second.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. If there's no objection, Mr. Chair, may I take items 24, 25, 26?
There are no objections.
Okay, thank you. Item 24, 21R 4236, a resolution by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor to execute renewal agreement number 2 with A National Limousine Service Incorporated, doing business as Airport Shuttle Group, for FC 7484 ground transportation terminal-to-terminal shuttle services at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport in an amount not to exceed $5,516,226 during the 1-year renewal term. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. Item 25, 21R 4237, a resolution by Transportation Committee to fund the Plane Train Tunnel West Extension Project component for project number SC 9277, Plane Train Tunnel West Extension Phase 1 Progressive Design Bill at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport with Clark Atkinson Technique, a joint venture in an amount not to exceed $46,322,222 for construction services. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. Item 26, 21R4238, a resolution by Transportation Committee supplementing a joint task order fund in the amount not to exceed $3 million for use under 3 small architectural and engineering design services contracts for contract numbers FC 9621B, Good Van Slyke and Architecture, FC 9621C, Hope Consulting Company, LLC, and FC 9621D, Southeastern Engineering Incorporated, for services to be performed at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. All services will be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. Item 27, 21R4239, a resolution by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor to execute renewal agreement number 1 with Dean All PSS LLC for FC 10421 Public Safety Systems Operations and Maintenance Services on behalf of the Department of Aviation in an amount not to exceed $1,950,415. All contracted work shall be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. Item number 28, 21R4240, a resolution by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to issue task order number FC 10641J86 for contract FC 10641J, job order contracting services with Kissberg Parker Fry joint venture for security booth number 50 gate replacement at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport on behalf of the Department of Aviation Asset Management, an amount not to exceed $427,976.23. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund, department, organization, and account number listed herein and for other purposes. Item number 29, 21R4241, a resolution by Transportation Committee establishing a joint task order fund in an amount not to exceed $10 million for use under contract numbers FC 1190033A, Sierra Aggression Joint Venture, and FC 1190033B, Manhattan RFB, a joint venture to provide managing general contractor services at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport for the Department of Aviation on a task order basis. All services will be charged to and paid from the account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. And item number 30, 21R4242, a resolution by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to execute a lease agreement with Quantum Aviation Services for RFPS 121-0200, 1220 Toffee Terrace, Building B, located at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, and for other purposes.
All right. Is Mr. Smith available?
Yes, sir. Michael Smith, Deputy General Manager. We will ask you to move approval for each of those items. If you have any specific questions regarding any of those pieces of legislation, I'd be glad to answer those.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Overstreet, second.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. These items are favorable. Item number 31, 21R4243, a resolution by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to execute an operation and management agreement RFPS 121-0250 with ABM Aviation Incorporated for the South Cargo Truck Staging Lot located at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, effective on the date of execution and continuing for 5 years in an amount not to exceed $7,500,000. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. And Mr. Chair, the IPRO report has been provided in your committee packet, and the legislation needs to be amended to include it.
Okay, motion to amend. Is there a second?
Overstreet, second.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is amended. Mr. Chair, we do need to take one additional motion on this item.
Motion to approve as amended.
Second, Overstreet.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable as amended. Item number 32, 21R4244, a resolution by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor her designee to execute an agreement for RFPS 121-0323 with Jacobs Engineering Group Incorporated for asset management, consulting and professional services at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport in an amount not to exceed $2,370,000. All services will be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. And staff recommends holding this item until receipt of the pending IPRO report.
All right. So so we don't have the IPRO, so we'll have to hold it. So make a motion to hold. Is there a second?
Second, Overstreet.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is held. Mr. Chair, our dual refer item, I believe, will continue to be held. And we have one item from the held section to remove, which is item number 40. Mr. Chair, if you would like to bring this, take a vote to bring the substitute forward.
All right, on item 40, I make a motion that we bring forward the substitute. Please read it in.
Second.
All right, I muted myself. The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The substitute reads as follows. A substitute ordinance, 21-0632, a substitute ordinance by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the city of Atlanta to abandon portions of North Yards Boulevard consisting of approximately 0.7194 acres, being more specifically described in the attached Exhibit A, lying and being in land lot 82 of the 14th District of Fulton County, Georgia, to VLP4 LLC for purchase at fair market value and in exchange for construction and conveyance of a new section of right-of-way consisting of 0.2866 acres, being more specifically described in the attached Exhibit B, authorizing the mayor or designee to execute a quitclaim deed for the abandonment of portions of North Yards Boulevard to VLP4 LLC and any other documents necessary to effectuate the abandonment and relocations of portions of North Yards Boulevard and for other purposes.
Katina Alexander.
Right. Oh, yeah, go ahead. I was just about to call you up, Ms. Alexander.
Katina Alexander, Atlanta Department of Transportation. We received a formal request from the owners of the abutting properties to abandon 0.7194 acres of North Yards Boulevard for the purposes of providing connectivity to Cameron M. Alexander Boulevard. All owners of the property abutting the proposed abandonment have consented to the conveyance, and this will allow realignment of a dead-end street and making it a connecting street between North Avenue and Cameron Alexander Boulevard. We move for approval for this piece of legislation.
Okay. I make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Is this on substitute? Do I need to say on substitute, Mr.
That's correct.
Okay. I make a motion to approve on substitute.
Second, Overstreet.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable on substitute. And, Mr. Chair, that completes our legislative items for today.
Okay, great. Thank you. And thank you to all the council members for hanging in there. That was an extensive legislative agenda. And I am going to turn over the chairpersonship to Marcy Collier Overstreet, our vice chair. And I have to step away for a few minutes and then come back for our presentations. So, Mr. Pace, if you can get ready for the presentations and prepare Ms. Overstreet to lead.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks.
One moment, please, for the presentation. Are you available, Commissioner Roy?
Yes, sir, I am here. Mr. Pace, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Commissioner Roy.
Okay, you can hear me? Good.
Thank you and welcome, Commissioner Rowan. This is Councilmember Overstreet, and we are ready for your quarterly update for ATL DOT.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Again, Josh Rowan, Atlanta Department of Transportation. This presentation is going to be a bit of a throwback. Over the last year, you've had an in-depth presentation from our transportation infrastructure management team that operates and maintains our streets. We've gone into pretty great detail on thoughts and ideas for the future and how we plan and prioritize projects. And I wanted to just spend some time today just to get back into the Renew and T-SPLOS program and give an update on the performance on this program, and then provide a few project updates at the end. So if we go to slide 2, you'll see our outline is very, very simple. We have a safety moment today, a performance update, and quick updates on DeKalb Avenue, Cascade. Also, I'll flip an update in there on Cheshire Bridge. There's some information that has new as of this morning even, and then a quick look at our future projects. So moving to slide 3, this is an area that as we position the city moving forward, that I believe we need to be spending more time focused on. We have a growing population, we have an aging population, and I believe the discussion related to seniors and transportation is one that needs to move to the forefront. It's actually a very, very difficult discussion because it's many times a complex problem to solve. But one of the things that we do know, and it's reflected in this graphic, is that things like pedestrian refuge islands provide tremendous safety benefits. And areas, we're already doing this. We're already doing leading pedestrian intervals, basically giving pedestrians a head start across the street. One of the areas that we've not done that we're going to be looking at are things like raised crosswalks. Any vertical element that's forcing the traffic to slow down, it's become rather alarming to see the recent driver behavior and some of the recklessness and severe crashes, which I think really highlights the need to be protecting the people who use our public spaces, especially those who may be a little slower. Again, it's back to the comment that if we get it right for the 8-year-olds and the 80-year-olds, everyone in the middle is probably okay. But I feel like we need to talk more about the senior transportation, just because it is a growing need and a relatively complex problem to discuss. So more to come on that. Moving to slide 4, we show this every presentation. This has really served well. It's the One Atlanta Strategic Transportation Plan has been our North Star. We thank Mayor Bottoms for her vision in putting this together. Lately, I would share that we've been on in the gray box, the ethical, transparent, and fiscally responsible government, talking about how we plan and distribute resources based on equity, safety, and conditions, and delivering transportation projects faster. We embrace our role as a service delivery organization, and we understand that efficiency and speed are a big part of that. And so more to come, but we're certainly happy with some of the progress that we've made this year. I think the always stop has turned into just an excellent exercise in all districts, and it shows the team's ability when we control the resources, when we control the equipment, when we perform the work, that we actually move very quickly and do the work quite well. So shout out to the maintenance team. They show up day in and day out and are really the stars of the show. Let's move to slide 5. It's teeing us up for a performance update on the Renew Atlanta program. When I first started with the city, we developed a set of dashboards to reflect various metrics that we wanted to measure. We settled on the XPI, which is essentially takes the best of cost performance and schedule performance and multiplies them together. So if we move to slide 6, these were the reports that came out of that effort, and great work done by our team, great work done by our program management consultant, and we make these available to everyone. We send these to NPUs, we send these to council members, and these are the reports that I use when monitoring the program. So we have a collection of reports, a monthly report, a quarterly report, and then a council-specific report. And I wanted to just share a few things that I look at for the folks who may be tuned in today to get a quick snapshot. So on slide 6, the monthly report, I find that the top banner tells you half the story right off the jump. So you can see the program budget at $570. The funding side, we're confident that our revenue projections align with the budget. You can see we've committed $406 million for projects. To date, we've paid $338. Now, when I say to date, these generally run about 30 days out of sync, only because of the timing that we get the batch data from finance, but it's close enough for what we're doing. By the end of the reporting period, we had planned to spend $410 million, so our XPI is 0.82. We like to see that at 0.9 or above. And if you drop down a little bit, you can see complete streets was down for the month. You can also see roadway improvements is down for the month. And you can blame me for that. That's essentially Cascade, the fact we had to bid it twice. That was a decision that I made. And then DeKalb Avenue with the changes that we made to the design to be more bike and pedestrian friendly, to address the ADA issues. that was time that was added and is reflected in these numbers. Now that both projects are moving forward, we plan to see that recover pretty quickly. The other thing I like to look at visually, and I'm more of a visual person, is this budget by project phase. And I like to watch this completed bar, the dark blue, and this construction bar, kind of the medium shaded blue. And you can see this is covering just a little over half of the program. And we have quite a few projects lined up to move into construction. So you're going to see this construction sliver of the circle graph start to grow over the next several months. And that's what we want to see. We're at that point where these projects are wrapping up design, moving into construction. I'll skip over by category. I actually don't really look at the category. I like looking at the program numbers. We have the quarterly report because a lot changes month to month, so we want to be looking for trends on a quarterly basis. And you can really see from this report that things are moving forward. We show increases since the last cycle and almost every project category, which that's what we want to see. We're delivering the work and spending the money according to our plan. Again, I tend to look at it at the program level. We can certainly have people who can tell you what's going on in each project category. But let's move on to slide 8, because this is a really important one. This is where we look at how is the revenue coming in, how are we spending it compared to the project delivery. And the interesting thing at the very basic level, and I know that font's very small, but the one thing that we don't want to have happen is the blue line cross the yellow line. The yellow line represents our planned funding, and so we never want to be planning to spend more than we've actually earned. It's back to those small business type elements of running a sales tax program. And so we've been very conservative. Even throughout the pandemic, we were holding back a little bit just to watch the variability in the sales tax collection. And future slide will address that. But from a cash flow perspective, we feel good with where we are. The projects, we just finished a budget exercise where we went through line by line to look at the project budgets and believe that we're in a healthy position with all of the projects in the program. On to slide 9. We spent a lot of time looking at each council district. And these numbers are a shade dated because I know the team has been very active over the last month and working to start committing the last balances of the council district funds. And that's what we want to continue to do is spend down those dollars. So you can see we have about $9 million. I'm actually guessing that's probably closer to $6 million right now that's unallocated. And we want to follow up and make sure that we've got that money tied to projects. So we'll continue to have those discussions, but all of that has been used very, very effectively to address important projects. On to slide 10. There's a nuance here that unless you're just sitting home studying these reports, you may not notice, but up here under collection summary, our goal has shifted to $277.9 million. And what that reflects is actually the COVID recovery in our revenue collection. We had been managing to about 255, and we're projecting to see a bit of a surplus on the revenue side. And so that's good. So that's going to enable us to address some areas such as utilities that we have to deal with unforeseen site conditions, to have adequate contingencies in our major projects as we go forward. So this really shows, if you look to the right, you can see the dip in the spring that was COVID, and you can see that we're very rapidly climbing back out of that. And we don't foresee another dip happening. We think it's going to level off, and the collection is going to be in a healthy posture as we move to the end of the program. So wrapping the financial piece up, if we move to slide 11, one of the things that we did is we also focused on our cost. I was taught a long time ago by a wonderful lady who told me, Josh, you need to address your revenue and you need to address your costs, and they're two separate exercises. And so you can see in 2019, we were running about 1.1 million per month overhead wise. We've got that down to about 750. And as we go into construction, we actually had it down further. We were down probably closer to 600,000. But as these projects move to construction, we have to mobilize inspection staff there. But you can see a 31% reduction in overhead. We're pretty proud of that, and we run a lean team, and our focus on data has enabled us to be making decisions based upon the performance data versus more of the old school having a big engineering office with lots of folks. So we've also done some really, really good things. The Cascade Road Complete Street, I believe our awarded contractor's bid was less than 1% of our budget. It was right on top of that. We actually saw on DeKalb Avenue, same thing, that the bid was right on top of our budget, which is exactly what we want to see. Not a lot of people know about the work we did with the Southport Conservancy Pedestrian Bridge. It was an interesting situation, and shout out to Councilmember Ide for using some of her monies, but we actually had to manage and let the ADA ramp superstructure that was part of the bridge as a separate project. But that has come off well, and one that we're excited about. And then a number of improvements in Inman Park have all been within budget, and our cost projections were right on the money there. Jumping back to Cascade, it was probably 2 years ago we showed you a right-of-way tool that we were using for the first time on Cascade. And I think the proof's in the pudding that as we sit today, we've acquired 68 parcels for this project and have maintained budget on this. And that's important. That's a variable that can swing pretty wildly just depending on the size of the project. And we know that the Cascade corridor is a significant one. And then the last one is we've also looked at how do we vary our contracting methods. And the best story was when we were able to save $1 million on the Powers Ferry Road resurfacing. And these are very significant savings that are a tremendous benefit to the city, and hats off to the team because they're always looking for these opportunities to move projects faster and to push costs down. And so that's really exciting to see. Just, again, shout out to the team. Performance-wise on Renew T-Splost, we continue to improve. Financially, we're in a very strong position to bring this one to the finish line. It's important to remember that the expectation is never that construction completes within the same 5-year window as revenue collection. Generally, these programs will continue on for a few years after the revenue collection has stopped, so there's still plenty of work coming. If we move to slide 12, back in one of our first presentations, we talked about going high-tech and old school with communications, and we continue to push out content online, and just our Amy Williams and our communication team is just doing an outstanding job getting information out, overhauling our website. Just really exciting things happen, and you see it in the numbers, and it's becoming a go-to with information related to DOT. So let's move to some project updates real fast. Let's jump to slide 14. We can jump over the header slide. So on DeKalb Avenue, as many know, we've awarded that project to the Matthews Kelly JV on September 22nd. We held our groundbreaking. The weather certainly did not cooperate. That was an interesting day, having to break ground and then run under the tent for the ceremony. But the contractor's been issued a notice to proceed on the project, as you can see, October 29. There are some material submittals that they're having to submit, maintenance of traffic plan that has to be approved. So all of the upfront administrative items are underway, and construction to begin very soon. The other element that we added was a community pre-construction meeting. It was a Zoom call to basically talk about expectations. Here's what's going to happen in the project, the contractor explaining sort of their methodology, and no, these are big, challenging projects that are going to take some time. So continuing to engage with the community, and that was just an excellent effort from the team. And we've slide 15, we've added some of the pictures to give you an idea of what it's going to look like out there. Again, trying to squeeze as much bicycle infrastructure as we believe we can safely in there. At the same time, we're moving those dreadfully dangerous reversible lanes and then fixing the pavement. I know there were a lot of complaints and concerns about damage that had been done through the past. All of that will be addressed as we go through. Cascade Road, really excited about this one. Let's go ahead and jump to slide 17. I'm sure many have seen the renderings that we put up. I'll tell on myself a little bit. We had to actually do that twice because I think I picked out ones that were too small the first time. The joke was you had to stop to see it. We certainly don't want you stopping in traffic to look at those signs, but I'm giving the community an idea of what that's going to look like when it's all finished. We have a successfully awarded the project to the Matthews Kelly JV. We've talked about right-of-way earlier, that we've been obtaining that and maintaining the budget. 94% of our parcels are closed or in the closing process, and that's pretty typical to actually start construction before you have a 100% closing. So there's no major risk there. That's something that we manage. Due to the large traffic control responsibility and the detours related to the storm drainage, we've actually given this contractor an administrative notice to proceed, which basically means they can start doing the work on detour planning. They can do some clearing if they need to look at specific issues that are drainage related, and they can get all their material submittals into us and approved. And essentially, we're collaborating to build the plan for implementation. Let's see, fifth bullet says groundbreaking ceremony is being scheduled. It's actually been scheduled. It's on Monday at 10 a.m. at Cascade United Methodist Church. Please come out and join us. This is an exciting time, exciting project moving into construction. And we'll be doing the same thing with Cascade and doing a community pre-construction Zoom call just to talk about really more the how of the project, how it gets built, what to expect. This really isn't a technically focused discussion about design. Design's done. The cake's in the oven and it's baking. So now we've got to bring this to completion. Slide 18, we also included the renderings we've been using, and that was a real eye-opener for me because, and I give the team credit for developing these basic renderings. I think oftentimes we roll out our engineering plans and we think everybody can understand it. As we started showing people just these basic renderings, there was a lot more understanding of how the project was going to look when it's finished. And we want to continue to move down that path of using three-dimensional representations to illustrate what our projects are going to look like. I'm going to insert an update right here quickly before we move on. Cheshire Bridge Road, we were able to get, as of the end of last week, have all of the attached utilities on the bridge are now off of the bridge. That was a pretty significant effort to get power, get cable, get phone. Gas was already off of the bridge. The contractor mobilized Monday. We had to install a sewer bypass. If you look at the pictures, there's a green pipe essentially adjacent to the bridge. So the last thing we want to do is drop a bridge on top of a sewer line and create new problems for ourselves. So thanks to the Department of Watershed Management working with us to develop a sewer bypass. That has been installed. The contractor was coring the deck yesterday, and today at around 9:30, the demolition process began. So the bridge will be removed in a fairly short order. It's not a large bridge. It's not a major undertaking. So give them about a month, and that bridge will likely be out of there. And they've committed to working around the clock to get the bridge removed. Parallel to that, the team has already developed, we're probably about 99% finished with our document for an emergency design build procurement to get the team in place to start working on the replacement first part of next year. So we continue to work against the plan we've developed, and it's nice. It'll be nice to see that bridge come down. That's a major milestone in the schedule. And just know we'll keep you updated on the progress as it pertains to the the efforts to design the replacement and build the replacement. If you look at, let's jump to slide 20, I want to point two things out because it's been interesting. At the bottom right under bridges, we know about the Cheshire Bridge Road bridge replacement, but we also have an issue with the Bankhead Bridge, and our partners at Norfolk Southern sent some safety inspectors out to look at that one, and it continues to deteriorate. So we've been able to work things out within our general fund budget to begin the process of actually demolishing the Bankhead Bridge too. So I know that's been an area of concern for a lot of people, the adjacent developers, for Georgia Tech. So that one's moving forward, and we're going to be demolishing Bankhead Bridge also. So you're seeing a bit of a bridge flavor here in the fall of the year. The green indicates projects that are moving to construction. The last one I'll update on is the Lamig resurfacing. The 2019 is under contract. 2020 is moving through procurement, and 2021 will be probably first of next year. But we're getting caught up on all of our LMIG resurfacing, which is good to see. That's work that's certainly needed as we address the pavement conditions in Atlanta. Slide 21. Again, shout out to the team for the major overhaul to the really creation of ATL DOT website. It's the go-to for information. In fact, as I need specifics related to projects, I'm finding that my go-to is either my dashboard reports or the DOT website. And we work hard to keep this information accurate, keep it updated, and obviously if there's something that doesn't seem right, let us know. We're happy to take a deeper dive. But this has been just an excellent product that's been developed with the department's website. And then no presentations complete without thanking our partners. I think as we do these presentations, we continue to add partners to this slide. It may end up needing to be 2 slides as we go forward. Nothing we do alone. And so we're grateful to our friends and our colleagues in the business, in the construction industry, in the design industry, and just things are really moving in a positive direction. And we plan to keep that momentum going. I feel like for this presentation, I maybe should have put the Transportation Committee, because, again, it's hard to believe this is the 4th of 4 updates to committee, but it's been a real pleasure this year working with all of you. I think together we've really accomplished a lot, so I want to thank you for your oversight, your accountability. I want to thank you for the partnership, and just look forward to future progress together. Jumping to slide 23 and wrapping this up, as always, follow us on social media. It's a great source of information. The team works very, very aggressively to push the information out. And so with that, I know in past presentations we had run a little long. I'm trying to pull our average down, so this was a little bit of a shorter presentation, but that concludes the presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Rowan. Yes, that was probably half the time that you usually take.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
We still got quite a bit of information. I am on cloud 9, of course, because I heard Cascade Complete Streets and so many times, and that just warms my heart. Not to mention that it just seems like we have just a more balanced and well-rounded scope of projects throughout the city, and that feels right to me. So I would open up the floor for any other Transportation Committee members to speak. Colleagues, I don't have the panel here, so I can't see who wants to speak. So if you just jump right in, that'll be fine with me.
Councilmember Overstreet, this is Councilmember Ida. I had sent you a text saying I'd like to speak, so I'm happy to hop in. Please do. Thank you, Commissioner Rowan. That's all fantastic news. The only thing that doesn't make me happy about it is that I didn't hear Monroe mentioned, and I know you and I have talked about that, but that is, I wish when I was hearing DeKalb and Cascade, I was hearing Monroe, and in particular, I wish I was hearing the Monroe and 10th intersection. My resident's child, Alexa Heineman, was killed when she was 14 now there at the intersection. She'd be turning 20 this year. And that's not something the city should be proud of, that 6 years have passed since a Grady High School student was killed at that intersection, and we keep on saying we're going to put safety improvements in place. And we've done some, but, it had been, you and I spoke about this yesterday, it had been my understanding that we were pulling that piece of the project out of it and fast-tracking that while we waited for the tax revenue to come in for the rest of Monroe. And I'm tired of waiting, and the community's tired of waiting, and Alexa's family's tired of waiting. So not to be a downer on a great presentation, but that's really a glaring absence to me.
Yes, ma'am. And if I can provide a quick update on that. So the breakout of the 10th and Monroe is actually part of another package of projects that's moving forward. We anticipate procuring that first of next year. So it is continuing down the path of being let as a separate project for the reasons we talked about.
It seems to have slipped from the timetable that I was given, that I gave the community. And so I just really, really don't want to, I was told it was going to be in construction right now. So I don't want that to slip anymore. We owe it to the Grady Midtown High School community and to the Heineman family that we, that needs to be in the, absolute, top projects that we're doing as a city.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And I hope my colleagues will support me on that. I think where we have the death of a child, that in a high school right there, that needs to be a priority area. So thank you.
Absolutely. Any other colleagues have anything else they'd like to say or questions?
I do. This is Councilmember Faroki, if I may.
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course.
Just quickly, one comment and one question. One, at the beginning of your presentation, Commissioner Rowan, you mentioned the increasing look and maybe momentum toward what you called raised sidewalks. I know other people call them at-grade sidewalks. The sidewalks that stay at grade as you cross the street, which I want to say that's music to my ears, and we have a few instances of these across the city. I know one downtown, some Beltline crossings, et cetera, and they're incredibly effective in slowing traffic and making it safer for folks walking of any age. And so I commend the department for looking at that infrastructure shift. I know it's not inexpensive and is very much intersection dependent, but encouraged to see that as something the department is looking at. And then second is just a question about Freedom Parkway, which I know is a GDOT road. All the lights have been out along Freedom Parkway for a long time, and I didn't know if that's a GDOT responsibility or a city responsibility. There's always a lot of gray area with who has to do what along that corridor.
The overhead lights, sir?
These are, they're a bit dated. Look like they were done for the Olympics. They're kind of 1990s style street lights, so they're not LED lights, but they're along the roadway. And some along the path, but primarily along the roadway.
Okay. If you'll allow me, I'll have you an answer today on that one.
Okay, great.
I'm not sure if so we have a contract with Georgia Power on the interstate lights. I'm not sure if Freedom Parkway is picked up in that. I think it is, but I don't want to misspeak on that.
Okay. Well, I appreciate looking into it and happy to chat about it offline.
Okay. No, that sounds good.
And that's all I have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Oh, thank you. Anyone else have anything else they'd like to add? Okay. So hearing none, Commissioner, thank you again for the presentation today. Looking forward to continued presentations with all of this advancement and details of how we're actually getting business done properly in the city. Whenever we are doing it right, we do need to explain it to our residents just the way you have today. And so I appreciate you coming on, and I will talk to you real soon. Monday, I'll see you. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Look forward to it.
Thank you. So with that, Mr. Pace, we are where on our agenda? That brings us to the end of our agenda, doesn't it?
That is correct, Madam Vice Chair.
Okay. Well, in that case, does anyone else have any announcements or anything they'd like to share with the public before we go? I do. I want to just remind everyone to come to the groundbreaking on Monday, the 15th at 10 a.m. at Cascade United Methodist Church, the groundbreaking of the Cascade Complete Streets project. And I'm happy to be there on Monday at 10 o'clock. So with that, I guess we are adjourned. Can I get a second for adjournment, please? Is the whole committee muted? Well, Mr. Pace, it seems that everyone has left us.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
So in that case, it'll just be you and I adjourning this meeting.
Yes, ma'am. You have a great day.
Thank you, too.